today or tonight, I decided to go back to my Lords of the Rings theme, and I did Treebeard. Now, I didn't have much of a reference for this. I Googled on my phone. I saw the cartoon version, and I saw the live-action version, and both were pretty cool, but I kind of went with a more of a realistic face. Because of that, I didn't have a good reference. This kind of looks a tad bit cartoony, and I always preach on this channel, don't do that, but I did it because I just couldn't find a good reference. I should have just found an old man's face with a beard and just went with that, but I didn't. But I think the overall picture looks good because I think what this picture really features is the tree. I've been wanting to do some tree work anyway, and it's giving me a good excuse. So we're going to start this little video with something a little different. My wife Cheryl's with me. Say hi, Cheryl.
Hi.
We're going to talk about our favorite movies. Now, I think Lord of the Rings is probably one of the top movies we like.
Yeah,
but
top 10 at least.
Top 10, but we're going to talk about our top 3 or top 4. And we're going to take turns with this. Ready? Cheryl, what's your choice for top 3 or 4?
Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil.
Why?
I don't know. I just really, really like that movie. I think the characters are cool. The whole Southern culture is intriguing to me. It's just an interesting movie.
Okay. My top 1 will be Planet of the Apes, 1968.
Why?
Why is because it's one of the best science fiction movies ever written. It was done so well. I named one of my kids after one of the characters, Landon, one of the astronauts.
Right. Our second child is named after Planet of the Apes.
I didn't name the kid Cornelius.
Or Charlton.
But it's the best of the franchise. It's the best one. It's the science fiction writing is just off the wall good, and it has that ending everybody knows about. Okay, Cheryl, what's your next choice?
Dazed and Confused.
Okay, I shake my head for that one.
I know, but the soundtrack is amazing, and even though this is set in last day of school, 1976. It reminds me a lot of my high school days in the 80s. Probably not to that extreme, but it's just a fun movie, and everybody knows that this movie is Matthew McConaughey's, kind of breakthrough with his character of Wooderson, and I enjoy the characters in that movie very much.
I think if you're going for soundtrack, you have to go with Heavy Metal in 1980.
Well, I do appreciate that soundtrack as well. My favorite song off of that soundtrack, do you know what it is?
It's the one with the airplanes.
Yeah.
What's it called again?
Taking a Ride, Don Felder.
Right. That's an awesome movie. I watch that all the time.
That would probably be top 10, too.
To get influences from my painting. My next one I will go with will be Alien 1980, which is really close with Aliens 1986. I was 13 years old when the first one came out. I wasn't even able to get in the theater. It was R-rated. And I remember exactly where I was at in 1986 when the second movie came out, because the theater I was in Lincoln, Nebraska, no longer exists. But those are very influential. If you go back, and I encourage you to go back on my channel, I probably have 20 Alien paintings. Very, very influential for me.
The Xenomorph.
The Xenomorph.
Yeah.
Because the design's cool. I love H.R. Giger stuff. So if you like Alien, you need to go back on my channel and look it up. Okay, Cheryl, what's your next one?
Star Wars: A New Hope.
Star Wars: A New Hope. I will have to agree. That's also in my top 3 or 4. And why is it for you?
Well, that movie came out in 1976, and I was just a little kid, but that was what started it all, I think. There's things wrong with that movie, but we still watch it every week because I think it was so iconic to our childhoods and growing up. I mean, I still remember, the kids in my class having the Star Wars action figures and the Luke's speeder and the X-Wing and
the Trapper Keeper.
The Trapper Keeper, all the stuff that went along with it, and that was the coolest stuff back then. So,
and what's funny, because we're like really old now, and we're going back and we're actually buying the Star Wars figures right now.
Yeah,
we have a shelf dedicated to it. So yeah, Star Wars. Here's a funny story. Back in those days, they had a re-release about 2 or 3 years later. At that time, I was 16 years old, working in the theater. And I actually watched back in those
As
days.
a projectionist,
Right. Back in those days, you didn't just throw it on a spool and show it. You had two projectors. You had to flip them back and forth. It was a very responsible job for a 16-year-old. But I remember very well bringing my little cassette recorder and sticking it by the speaker and recording that whole movie so I could take it home and listen to it. I was pirating movies in 1977. That's past the statute of limitations. You can't take me to jail for that. Plus, we rented.
Who knows where that tape is?
Yeah, we rented anyway. So where we at? Was that mine or yours?
Well, we agreed on Star Wars, but
Whose turn is it?
you were going to talk about 300 as well.
Well, you can't say it ahead of time, but 300 is, from an artist standpoint, is probably the top artsy-fartsy movie I've ever seen. I don't really go for movies that are all CGI, but I give this one a pass because the characters are so good.
Even the soundtrack is good in that one.
It's a phenomenal movie. I watch it all the time. Hollywood doesn't make a lot of really good movies. And with this one, somebody made a mistake and made a super, super, super good one.
I would put that in my top 10 too. Top 5 probably.
Gerard Butler, he could have been the new Charlton Heston for me, but he makes so many crappy movies too. And he's such an uneven actor. He either does a fantastic job with the movie, or some total crap wad that I can't stand, where he's hunched down in the jungle with a gun, and I just hate him. He does that. Okay. Anywhere else? Are we done with these? There's another one? Are we done?
Well, no, that was my top 3. I would probably put Indiana Jones in my top 10.
I think
just because it's from my childhood too.
Steven Spielberg is responsible for probably my top 5, 6, and 7. Jaws, fantastic. Close Encounters, fantastic. Which one you just saying? Oh, Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones.
Well, the first one. I wouldn't give any other ones a pass. And what's that one with the alien they did?
E.T.?
I'm not much a fan of that kind of stuff. But if you want to watch a good quality movie, Steven Spielberg has done that.
Right. Schindler's List is one of his.
Well, I don't know why I don't think he should make movies out of things that are so horribly and depressing. I mean, I don't know. I don't find murder and death to be particularly entertaining, even though.
Yet we watched 300.
I know. In Star Wars.
And Star Wars, Luke blows up 1 million people.
He murders about 1 million people. that scene where those two guards go up into the Millennium Falcon and you hear "Pachoo, pachoo." Those guys had families and stuff, and their kids are going to find out that they're dead. That's not cool. So, but let's go to this painting. I'm painting some blue. Why am I doing blue? Because I had some blue paint and I want to just use it. No, I'm going to limited palette. I did use some burnt umber to kind of give the branches a little bit of color, but I thought the blue would be a good accent color for this. It looks like his forehead, like he got shot in the head. But overall, this painting, I give it 2.5 stars out of 5. It's not my favorite, but I got to do some of my tree work, my woodwork, and it's not too bad. So like and subscribe. Hit the bell, subscribe, hit the bell.
Let us know what your favorite movies are.
And make comments. Tell me what you guys think about this painting and about your movie choices. That's a good idea.